long after he leaves office and will likely make it harder for Joe Biden to bring this nation together as he has pledged, which Martha Raddatz saw firsthand.
White people stuff.
While the president-elect has been calling for unity,
this election is over. It's time to put aside the partisanship and the rhetoric that designed to demonize one another.
It's not going to be easy as the president refuses to concede and continues to inflame his 70 million plus voters with the false message that the election was rigged.
I will never accept Joe Biden as president. I mean, if that's your question, that's my answer.
Yeah, that's great. You know, cue the Radfem Hillary. Cue the Radfem fucking Hillary's not Donald Trump is not my president fucking videos. It's like they made fun of that shit for so long, and now they're doing the same. Which, like I've mentioned time and time again, like at least those people were crying for good fucking reason. Like you're literally just crying because your superhero dad did not beat the other side's fucking superhero dad. Like you're mad that your daddy lost to the other daddy. Like, that's so sad. At least like what are you afraid of? What's gonna happen with the Joe Biden presidency? Like what's the worst thing that's gonna happen? It's so dumb. Like at least the women that were fucking crying because Trump became president, like low key were right. Okay, child separations non-fucking stop in a way that was worse than the Obama administration, even though Obama did do child separation as well. No, like put kids in cages, but not to the same degree and not for deterrence reasons like the Trump administration did. Deportations that are not in the border regions of people who did not have a criminal record at all whatsoever increased significantly under the Trump administration, even though Obama did deport more than Trump did. That's technically the truth. Sorry, sucks to suck, but that's the truth. Republican legislatures are fucking wilding the fuck out, trying to ban abortion for everybody, even like victims of incestual rape. Like, so some of these women are right to cry. They were correct. Did he deport more in 8 years or 4? No, he deported more in the first 4 years than Obama deported more in his first 4 years than Donald Trump deported in his first 4.
I just don't believe that he's right for our country.
You think Donald Trump is wrong?
And tell me that
Absolutely,
you
I
voted
do.
for Joe Biden when you're the
Joe
type
Biden's
of
still going to
person
do
that
coups
hasn't
and drone
been
strike the
an
Middle
endless
East and
queue
still
on
deport
South
immigrants
Street.
and fund the police. He's absolutely right to be scared of Biden. Dude, you're so fucking brain dead if you think a Trump supporter is like scared that Joe Biden is going to do those things. No, motherfucker. He's a Trump supporter. He thinks it's bad when Biden does it, but good when Trump does it. That's it. That's literally it. And for a lot of liberals, it's the opposite, just for the record. Just to correct the record on here, a lot of people don't give a fuck when it's a liberal administration doing the exact same things that a Republican administration does.
For me to believe that Joe Biden got 78 million votes, got the most votes of any president ever in the history of...
By the way, I don't really... it's undeniable that is crazy. Low-key, it is undeniable that is crazy. Like, it's wild that fucking Sleepy Pee Joe was able to drive so much turnout. But it's not that wild when you think about it, because it wasn't Joe Biden that drove that turnout. It was Donald Trump that drove that turnout. Like, he was so bad that he got fucking owned by a carcass, dude, who doesn't know where he is half the time. That's awesome. God, it's got to be pathetic that the dude that you simp for so hardcore is so fucking hated by the American public. Like, I voted Democrat. I didn't have to. I'm in California. I still did. Like, that's how fucking horrible Donald Trump is. I fucking hate the Democratic Party. I hate Joe Biden. I hate Kamala Harris. They're fucking garbage. They're going to be horrible. Maybe they'll be good, like marginally good. I can't wait to fucking argue with people every single goddamn day about how, like, you know, oh, actually, earned income tax credits are really good, Sweaty, at a time when, like, you know, it's actually good that Kamala Harris is like, let's gentrify black neighborhoods program is doing a remarkable job uplifting black people by, you know, gentrifying black neighborhoods. Like, that's what's necessary. Please debate boss shot again. Please, please. Fuck no. No. Why would I do that? If I'm debating someone, I gotta get something out of it. Okay? I already hate debates. Why the fuck would I do that? I'm glad we've gone to the thank fuck I can stop pretending I like Joe Biden phase. I mean, yeah.
Of voting, I find that very hard to believe.
That's never going to be accepted. It's never going to be accepted.
On a
He's got a Newsmax hat on, dude. Bro, you probably heard about Newsmax like last week. 12 people used to watch Newsmax. You know, before Trump started pumping their numbers up.
Essential late fall afternoon in a middle-class neighborhood in Youngstown, Ohio, I talked to Gino DeFabio, Tony Esposito, and Laird Eric Wells. Gino and Tony were Democrats until 2016.
We always said that if we ever had a person that talked just like us, that ran for president or ran for an office, we were voting for that person. And that's what Trump is. It's hard to explain his allure, but obviously 70 million people think he's a great guy and want him reelected.
As Trump continues to baselessly declare he won the election, it resonates with these men.
There's a recipe for disaster when they decided to have these mail-in votes. I don't think there's any way of proving the person that mailed that in is the person that actually did it.
Do you want me to read you the numbers now for the states that are still outstanding? I mean, they're all well over 10,000 in each state, some 45,000. In each state. And you look at what secretaries of state have said, they have seen no evidence of massive fraud.
From my vantage point, there's too many smoke and mirrors in terms of ballots appearing here, reappearing there, disappearing here, this, that, and the third. Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's no way. It just doesn't smell right. Too many irregularities.
And even though Trump's own Homeland Security Department is calling this the most secure election in history, mother of four Carrie Paschal also believes the election was rigged.
He was winning. It goes into nighttime. All of a sudden, you wake up the next day and the state that was red is now blue.
The mail-in vote, it's COVID. And
bro, the reason why they feel this way is because they're stupid enough to only watch Fox News. If you watch twitch.tv/Hasanabi, you would fucking know why this is happening. Or, you know, New York Times or any number of fucking, like, other news outlets that, like, literally describe that this is exactly what's going to happen because that's the way that they fucking, that's the way that they designed it in places like Pennsylvania, for example, to, like, push the mail-in ballots to be counted after the fact. It's also called, it's a complicated mathematical procedure called counting. I don't know if you're aware of this, but that's how counting works.
so many people voted absentee, which is one of the reasons all the votes came in late. Mm-hmm. But you just don't trust those votes?
They kept finding them. It's like, how come you're finding them here, find them there? You weren't finding them in big Republican districts. It just seemed kind of crazy that everything that seemed to come in.
Yeah, because Democrats voted by mail and Republicans didn't. They didn't find these votes. They weren't like a secret and people found them. They just would not, they were literally not allowed legally to count those votes before, in Pennsylvania, for example, before the 4th.
How is it 100% Biden?
Like, the reason why there's no confusion in Florida was, well, one, because Trump won, and obviously they'll never fucking bring that up. They'll never be like, oh, there was confusion around Florida. No, because Trump won, obviously. But the real reason why there was no confusion around Florida is because Florida counted their fucking mail-in ballots early. They didn't release those results, but they counted them as they came in, and then they released them on the fucking day of voting. That's why you had answers to who the fuck won the state of Florida the night of the election. Maybe if we did that for every single fucking state, we wouldn't have so many fucking delusional dipshits running around still thinking that Trump might be the winner.
New York Times just did a massive calling every Secretary of State or some representative from each state, and every one of them said they saw no evidence of systemic fraud or any sort of massive fraud in each and every state.
Well,
I think they're totally...
I think there was fraud going on.
She gets along with her neighbor Mike Hall, a Navy veteran and Biden supporter, when they don't talk politics.
So if the evidence supported the claims of fraud, then the court and the judge would see that, and they haven't so far. So, I mean, just because the president tweets it or says it at a podium doesn't make it true. You can't speak facts into existence.
But he worries Kerry and many other Trump
fucking owned, dude. Shut up, lady.
Supporters.
God, our fucking dude, our bar is so low. We're like, based. Why? Why is he based? Because he said it's fucking. If votes are counted, then, you know, sucks to suck. The person who got more votes in these states that got the electoral college votes, more electoral college votes, is the winner. That's why based. That's based. He didn't say anything based. He's just a normal human being. What the fuck are we doing in this country? Why have we gotten to a point? Why have we gotten to a fucking point where we think like normal human beings with like normal opinions is based?
Will never be swayed by Biden.
Can he bring the country together?
I mean, I love it.
He can do a heck of a lot better job at it than the current president is doing, for sure.
Respect.
But one man is not going to heal this country. There's just too much divide. If the 70 million people that voted for Donald Trump don't come to grasp with the fact that this election was legitimate, and they don't accept it, I don't know how we're going to be able to heal that divide.
Back in September, I met Lynn Kincaid and his sister Arthur Schollenberger in Hamilton, Ohio, outside of Cincinnati. Both were strong backers of the president.
I think he almost walks on water.
But now, after the election, a slightly different tone.
Since I was a strong Trump supporter, I'm very disappointed, but it is what it is.
And a slightly different tune than the president on conceding the election.
When the final count comes in, I hope he will be like all past presidents and politely accept the results of the election and have a good transfer power. I'm disappointed that Mr. Trump lost the election. I'm not disappointed that he didn't concede, but when the final tallies are in, I hope he will concede. I think that's the right thing to do and be presidential.
Well, I'd say that he hasn't been a gracious loser, but then that's his personality. I wouldn't expect him to be a gracious loser, especially if there was any question whatsoever that this was not totally on the up and up.
And their advice to...
By the way, this guy's not the rarity. He's not the rarity. He's the norm. Like, there's a lot of fucking people who are Trump supporters who at least racism doesn't faze them. You know what I mean? And they vote for Donald Trump because they're fucking lifelong Republicans or whatever. They might even like that Donald Trump is like fun. And that guy's not the fucking rarity. That guy is not the rarity. Okay? If you look at the numbers, that guy's not the rarity. We just watch so many fucking hogs all the time that sometimes we think that like every single Republican is just like insane, completely out of their minds, or and in some respects they are, but in the way that like I look at it from a point of view of like I don't know, a European social democracy. If we're like comparing it to a European social democracy, like then yes, every single Republican is completely batshit crazy and insane. But when it comes to America, if you adjust this to American politics and the American political overtone window that has shifted to a very far right area, then these are the Normans. They are normal. That's the norm.
Fellow Trump supporters,
If they would just say a prayer to our good Lord and say, Lord, this is the results. Like it or not, we're going to have to live with it, and we need to work together as one nation to do what's best for this whole world. If we support Mr. Biden, and hey, he's our new president, if he is our new president, we should support him. I still believe
we should support him.
That time will heal. Time heals everything, and I think that we can all work together.
Time heals everything except for Chuck Grassley, which is COVID, by the way. I know, I'm aware. Also, you know what else time heals? Well, at the top of every hour, there's a 60-second ad break that comes along. A contractual obligation of patophobia, just a slight hinge of patophobia. Well, I run a 60-second ad break. Now, if you're wondering to yourself, well, Hasan, how the fuck do I enjoy an ad-free experience? Well, the only thing you need to do is subscribe. And you can subscribe for free with a Twitch Prime account. Twitch Prime, of course, gives you one free Prime that you can use on someone. Make that person me if you'd like, or someone else, or with a $5 subscription. But here's the 6-second ad break now.
And we still have a great future in this country.
Some hoping that that old adage remains true, that time, in fact, heals all wounds. Martha Raddatz joins us now. And Martha, you've been traveling this country throughout the election. What's the one thing that sticks out to you most after this most recent trip?
Well, I think just how extraordinary it is that really Donald Trump can say anything, and there are many of his supporters who believe it. They don't believe in fact-checking. If I bring up fact-checking, they say, we can't believe that, we'll go to social media. And this, to me, this trip was important to hear those voices, because even after Donald Trump is out of office, this has resonated so much throughout the country that it's not just Donald Trump, it's people who support him still, and as some of them say, forever. And Joe Biden's going to have a more difficult time trying to unite the country because of that.
And switching gears while we have you, we're learning tonight that the Pentagon may be expecting orders to reduce troop levels in Afghanistan and Iraq before Biden's inauguration. What more are you hearing about this, and what do we know about the president-elect's views on troop levels?
Well, you know that President Trump in October tweeted that all U.S. troops should be out of Afghanistan by Christmas. He got a lot of pushback from the military and from his Secretary of Defense at the time, Mark Esper, who reportedly sent a classified memo to the White House warning of this rapid troop withdrawal that the president was suggesting. Then Mark Esper was fired, and now we have this draft order that will likely appear on Friday. They will reduce the troops. Not all of the troops will be leaving. Reduce from about 4,500 to 2,500 in Afghanistan, and also in Iraq from 3,000 to 2,500. But of course, Joe Biden has never been an advocate for staying forever in Afghanistan either, and he has advocated for a smaller number of troops as well. Lindsay.
Martha Raddatz, thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
Christy McHouston is one of President Trump's most devoted supporters.
We stand behind him, and we're lifting him up to get through the end of his first term and hopefully on to round two.
Okay. Sorry, I just needed the Trump's front row Joes 4 more years.
No ads, Pog.
We forget that these people have cute puppers and stuff. Like, they're normal human beings from time to time. It's something I forget.
Yo, Hassan, have a good day.
The end of his first term and hopefully on to round two.
She drove here to Washington, D.C. from Elon, North Carolina, to be with tens of thousands of others just like her at the Million MAGA March.
Someone throwing your shirt.
standing with President Trump as he continues to contest the election he lost 2 weeks ago.
We're dealing with Donald J. Trump, who is a fighter. He's not going to back down.
Trump thrilling the crowd, flashing a thumbs up as he drove by on his way to play a round of golf. She's part of a community of art.
Bro, that shit is so bad. Like, wait, is this ABC Nightline? Oh, it is. I should pay attention to this. Interesting show. They might be featuring some other people on their interesting show. Who knows?
Trump supporters called Front Row Joes.
It's become a family of people who strongly support President Trump.
So far, nothing she's seen or heard has convinced her that Biden won the election.
Here's what the Department of Homeland Security says. There is no evidence.
Pig vape, yeah. Shroud.
Any voting system was deleted, votes were changed, votes lost, or was in any way compromised.
And?
So what would it take to convince you that Joe Biden won this election fairly and he, in fact, is our president-elect? What would it take to convince you of that?
Well, I think currently you cannot convince me that Joe Biden got more votes than any other president in history, including Obama. You will never convince me of that, first of all.
Okay.
Secondly, what President Trump is doing...
It's kind of funny. Like, why aren't they surprised that Trump had more votes than Obama? Like, cause they're right. Like, it is crazy that Joe Biden got more votes than Obama. That's crazy. That is crazy. One is like an actual fucking charismatic dude, came after economic collapse that happened under a Republican administration, and ran on hope and change. It is crazy. It's fucking crazy that like Joe Biden got more votes than Obama. Okay. Now, of course, there's population growth. Yawn. I love the population growth, Pepega. Yeah, you're right. The American population grew in the past 4 years because in 2016, despite the population growth from 2008, we didn't have that kind of turnout. So don't hit that fucking population growth Pepega shit, okay? Because it's beyond population growth. There was also voter turnout. Why do Republicans think 100% of the population votes? Man, they're so stupid. Yeah, I know. I think it was universal mail-in ballots, but more importantly than that, it was Donald Trump. Donald Trump was the primary motivator for why Trump supporters went out and voted, because his rural voter turnout strategy fucking was insane. He nailed it. And it was also for the liberals, Donald Trump again. They fucking despise him, myself included, and wanted to vote him out of office.
Doing right now is legal, and this is his legal right to investigate these allegations.
And she won't accept the results until the very last legal challenge is exhausted.
President Trump, forgive me, he lost in every state that he lost by tens of thousands of votes.
Okay, but again, that number is questionable depending on who you believe. And at this point, I choose to believe my president.
Despite the opposition, President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris are calling on Trump to begin the transition process for the sake of the country.
Now is when the real work begins. The necessary work, the good work of getting this virus under control.
It would make it a lot easier if the president were to participate. I am hopeful that the president will be mildly more enlightened before we get to January 20th.
So far, Trump and his allies in Congress are only ramping up efforts to cast doubt on the election. Georgia is ground zero, where a recount is underway after President Trump lost the state by roughly 14,000 votes. The president and his allies have focused their baseless attacks on Republican Secretary
Oh no. Wayne County Board of Canvassers deadlocked 2-2 on certifying election results, split along party lines. The Democratic member blasts Republicans for allowing politics to block certification. There's no reason under the sun for us not to certify this election irresponsible. Board member Jonah Kinlock, a Democrat on the 4-member board, blasted 2 Republicans for blocking the cert. Republicans on the board are saying that some of the precincts are out of balance. Wayne County board member Monica Palmer, a Republican, said they need to look at the books to account for those discrepancies where the ballot numbers differ. Wild. It's wild. I mean, they had to do this across the board in so many different counties. It's not going to happen. But it's insane that, like, they're even doing it. Like, they're just trying everything. Like, the next step after this is going to be fucking faithless electors. Like, they just want people in the Electoral College to just be like, you know, fuck the vote. So it's just going to go to courts if they actually keep this up. They'll look at the what do you call it? They'll look at they'll look at their books to account for the discrepancies, and then they'll call it. He goes to the state board December 13th for election if county doesn't certify. Wait, Rudy is being destroyed in court? There are 3,999 participants on this call, including you. Time for federal court hearing with Rudy Giuliani. Wait, this is not a fraud case, Giuliani says. He was alleging widespread fraud earlier in the meeting. Giuliani refers to another lawyer, the man who was very angry at me. I forgot his name. That would be Mark Aronchik, a lawyer for the Allegheny County Board of Elections. Giuliani is claiming that mail ballots are inherently fraudulent. Those ballots could have been from Mickey Mouse, he says. And now he's saying it's not a fraud case. What is happening, dude? It's only fraud when Biden wins. Yeah, I mean, that's literally it. That's it. That's the take. That's true.
Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger. Raffensperger told the Washington Post that Republican leaders, including Senator Lindsey Graham, hinted that he should toss legal ballots over inconsistent signatures in an apparent effort to help President Trump.
This is extraordinary. This is a Republican official who Trump endorsed, who is a conservative Republican in Georgia, saying he's being pressured by national Republicans like Lindsey Graham to toss out legal ballots. He's blowing the whistle on what is, he says, an attempt to steal the election.
The South Carolina.
He's a rhino. I'll tell you what. Anybody that goes against my big wet boy, he's a rhino. They're rhinos, all of them.
Carolina senator was recorded denying the remarks as he left the Capitol this evening.
I never said that. I said, do you have power as Secretary of State to require bipartisan verification of the signature? Because right now they don't. If he feels threatened by that conversation, he's got a problem.
Caparino.
Georgia's 2 Republican senators are facing a runoff election which would determine control of the Senate. The pair have called on Raffensperger to resign over false allegations of voter fraud. The president zeroed in on these Georgia anecdotes amplified by Tucker Carlson and blew them up into baseless claims of widespread election rigging.
Mr. Blaylock was a mail.
This dead people voted shit is just like already falsified. It's rather weird that Donald Trump is still running with that. rather odd that they're running with that still. It's already been clarified that this is wrong, that that old lady was alive.
Mailman for 33 years until he passed away in 2006. James Blaylock cast a ballot in last week's election.
But the funniest part is that, like, not only did this old lady actually fucking vote and has her husband's name, but also weird that they just dox people on top of the lies. It's whatever, but it's so dumb because, like, it's two people, you fucking idiot. Even if it was fake, even if it was actually voter fraud, like, you got a long way to go. There's a bit of a difference that you need to make, brother.
He's not voted. He didn't vote.
It was you.
It was me.
After legally signing her ballot with her registered voting name, Mrs. James E. Blaylock Jr., 96-year-old Agnes Blaylock was forced to defend her vote on local news.
The President of the United States was accusing you of voter fraud, essentially.
Oh, I know it. And I knew it wasn't fraud.
Tucker Carlson later apologized.
One of the people who voted in last week's election isn't dead, so apologies for that.
To date, the Trump administration has filed at least 18 lawsuits in 6 states, but case after case has been thrown out in courthouses around the country. In battleground Michigan, where Biden defeated Trump by close to 150,000 votes, a judge bluntly shot down the Trump campaign's request to suspend the count based on alleged lack of access for Republican poll watchers.
What I have, at best, is...
Well, someone asked, like, if they find one instance of voter fraud, like, what are they thinking? Does that mean Trump automatically wins? Well, the funny part about it is that they have found instances of voter fraud, but they were Trump supporters. So does that mean that Biden automatically wins? Like, it's so good, dude. It's so stupid that it makes it funny. I love it.
A hearsay affidavit.
And in Nevada, Republican lawyers arguing their poll observers were not close enough. The judge pushing back, asking, at what point does this get ridiculous?
Oh, we're beyond ridiculous.
Anything they can into the courtroom, and judge after judge in state after state, Republican judge, Democratic judge, you can hear it in the transcripts, in their voice sometimes. They're just tossing these out, sometimes with scorn.
As the president stalls, the coronavirus continues to ravage the nation at an uncontrollable rate. 1 million new cases recorded in the last week alone, bringing the total to a staggering 11 million.
Makes the Biden transition very difficult because it's not just antagonistic, it's not even happening right now. And the U.S. government is the most complex organization in the world. You can't just switch operators. It really needs to be seamless.
That transition is more crucial than ever, now with news of 2 promising vaccines that are over 90% effective. The logistical challenges of distributing the vaccines to millions is a priority for the Biden administration. But Trump continues to deny he lost, delaying any cooperation. His own appointees are even asking for permission to share information with Biden's team.
It is our focus to make sure that we're going to save people's life, and anything that may slow that process or create any...
Is this guy Turkish, dude? He sounds like my grandfather. He kind of looks like him too, but like younger. What the fuck? He's Moroccan.
Disruption is something that worries us appropriately.
Oh my God, he's like crazy. He literally looks like Dogan. What are you doing? The most important thing is... The most important thing is delivering the virus.
Nevertheless, numerous Republican leaders continue to support the president.
I don't know if there's fraud, but we ought to investigate.
We'll continue.
Dude, Republicans do this every election, dude. They literally do it even when they win. Like, Donald Trump did this after he won. Of course he was going to do it. Oh, I don't know. Might be some fraud. We just got to figure it out. Remember, small government Andes, by the way, they hate waste. They hate spending money on bullshit. It's like,
Continue to fight for his re-election until all the votes legally cast are counted.
Republicans aren't standing up to Trump because they know he's not going away anytime soon. He's going to still be the most powerful figure within the Republican Party. He's going to be able to make or break elections in the Republican Party.
Nightline reached out to nearly every Republican senator today to discuss the president's denials, and none were available for comment. But as the president continues to dig in his heels, only a few in his party are calling for the inevitable, a transition to Biden to get underway.
200,000 people are going to die between now and the inauguration. We have to get on it now.
It's critical for other Republican leaders to stand up and explain what actually happened.
And some, like Republican Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, are now finding themselves in hot water with Trump.
It's clear that certainly.
What's funny is saying stuff like, oh no, like Trump not helping with the transition process is going to kill more people with COVID. It's like, have you met Trump and the Republicans, dude? They don't give a fuck. They think it's fake. They literally are like, no, it's real, but like, we're just going to keep saying it's fake. I bet Chuck Grassley's like, it's still fake. COVID is still fake. I got it, but it's fake. I don't care.
Only based on what we know now that Joe Biden is the president-elect.
Shortly after those remarks on CNN, Trump threatened DeWine's 2022 re-election, saying it will be hotly contested.
It really is a painful thing to say, but we've seen it time and time again. Trump, who is a vindictive, petty man who does not forget slights easily, will come after them in their next election.
Even some of the president's most ardent supporters are trying to move on.
In my brain, I've kind of shifted gears and kind of moved on.
Pastor Chad Harvey leads the RFA Evangelical.
Oh, you guys remember this fucking guy? The evangelical Trump dude?
Church in suburban Raleigh, North Carolina. He estimates that about 90% of his congregation voted for Trump. We were with him just days before the election.
Like it or not, Donald Trump's policies are more in line with evangelical, Pentecostal, conservative theology than Joe Biden's is.
Yeah, he's right. Because it's a fucking suicide cult. That's why. That's why. Evangelical white Christians believe in the suicidal ideology. He is literally right. I mean, dude, it's based around bringing the rapture, dude. It's literally a cult that believes that Jesus Christ is going to come back to earth if Israel is given to the chosen sons and daughters of God. And Jesus Christ is going to come back to earth and fight Megadoodoo, like fight Satan. Okay? I'm making it up. It's not Megadoodoo. It's Megiddo or whatever the fuck it's called. But I just love saying Megadoodoo. Anyway, he's going to fight Satan. And then in that process, all the evangelical Christians are going to get fucking sucked up into the heavens. And then everyone else is done. Like they're all burning in hell in eternal damnation. So it is the most psychotic, suicidal fucking organized religion out there as far as like things that people believe in legitimately. And I am someone who believes that religion is great. If you want to fucking believe in it, you can believe in it as long as you don't infringe on other people's civil liberties, as long as you don't use your religion to fucking justify backwards ass, bullshit ass takes, as long as you're not anti-science, okay? If you keep it to yourself and you're fucking spiritual, then that's fine. But this shit isn't fucking fine. This shit's fucking crazy, dude. Atheist Andy here. Oh, come on, dude. You can't fucking call me a r/atheist. Get out of here. I'm the opposite. The r/atheist Andy's in here yell at me all the time. They literally nonstop yell at me. You're describing pretty much every religion when you say what's wrong with them. No, it's not true. There's also Christians who are just normal fucking Christians. There's Muslims that are normal fucking Muslims that aren't like, yeah, I'm voting for Islam. Like I'm voting along the lines of like just Islamic voting. Or I'm voting just along the lines of like Christian voting. even if you are a Muslim and you believe in like principles that were instilled in you by reading the Quran, it's entirely about your own personal interpretation or how you have interpreted some of the lessons in the Quran or in the Bible. Same with that. There are plenty of fucking leftist Christians out there, socialist Christians, ecumenical Marxists. Because religion is what you make it. There's some really good fucking lessons in there. Stop normalizing religion. Man, I don't care. Like, it's already normal, brother. There's nothing you can do. Like, you sound like a fucking vegan. You sound like an annoying vegan that thinks that, like, they're actually doing activism by being an annoying, out-of-touch atheist. Okay? Stop normalizing religion, he says. Probably the most normal thing in the entire planet for so many people. It seems abnormal to you, and I understand that. I understand why it seems abnormal to you, because in a lot of circumstances, like once you've taken the atheism or agnosticism pill, it's like you're like, these people are crazy. No matter what happens, you're looking at people and you're like, what the fuck is this? I used to be a more radical, annoying r/atheist Andy type person when I was younger. Stop normalizing religion sounds like people who say, why are you platforming Donald Trump? It's like, what do you mean? Why am I platforming Donald Trump? Like, how am I don't even know how to describe that. Like, it's just, there's no counter to that.
Later, Pastor Harvey is skeptical of how the election has played out.
When we see what has happened over the last 4 years, some people are scratching their heads and saying, is this the next in a long series of attempts to remove President Trump from office?
He is beginning to accept that Biden will eventually become the next president.
My God.
I do think religion is opium for the masses. I do. But I also think that there has to be some form of control. You guys have never heard me talk about this, I think, but I think the neoliberal form of control, aside from like the violence that is a necessity for a neoliberal capitalist order of the economy to continue, aside from all of those elements, I think neoliberalism does some stuff very good.
To be donor walled by Ayan.
The diversity of products that are available to you that you can purchase is one way to control the masses. And I think that it's a successful way to control the masses. Degenerate, hedonistic, things that feed your degenerate hedonism to a degree that is not, super unhealthy, is good. It gets you to forget that the situation is dire, even under a uniquely unequal circumstance where you are operating under a completely oppressive social structure, an economic structure. I think that that's a lesson that we as leftists should learn from that and try to, while making commodity production more ethical, try to use that as a form of control as well. I am not delusional enough to think that like, oh, self-fulfillment and reading a lot of books is going to magically make everyone come to terms with the things that you believe in. You can say I'm a leftist degenerate cope, but ultimately, if you don't give people coffee beans and the people across the fucking border have some coffee every goddamn week, the people on the other side are going to revolt. They want coffee, they need to get coffee.
Yeah, but normalizing some things is real. And you should very carefully assess what you do.
People get so mad at me for this take. A lot of leftists get mad at me for this take. And by the way, that same concept exists for religion too. Just religion is what you make it. But I do think that some form of Marx's opium for the masses remark isn't a negative remark. Marx thought people should be above materialist needs, and only then can they really focus on spiritual needs. As far as I know, he certainly wasn't religious, but he wasn't an r/atheism anti which sounds close to your take. Yeah, reading books would certainly help. I agree.
Gut tells me that's where this is headed.
Perhaps more importantly, he says, the election has reminded him what truly matters.
God is sovereign. God does have a plan.
It's a message he's sharing with his congregation.
It's my way of saying, man, it's time to move on and stop being depressed about what happened in a secular election. That's not what we're called to do.
And it's a call many Trump supporters are unwilling to heed, at least for now.
Do you think we can get to that point as a nation, that people on both sides can show the other side grace?
It would be nice, wouldn't it? It would be nice. But what I'm saying to you right now is I don't know what that path would look like. And there's the other saying that time heals all wounds. So maybe some time will take care of this.
And for more on the transfer of power and how this showdown impacts America, earlier this evening I spoke to ABC News chief political analyst Matthew Dowd. Matt Dowd, thank you so much for joining us. Why have most Republicans remained in lockstep?
Especially when a lot of people in the global south cling to religion. How are we going to reach them by saying, actually, this thing that you relied on your entire life is stupid and has no place in the future? You use religious teachings for good and not evil? Wait, why are you yelling at me when that's literally my take? Maybe you're not yelling at me. Maybe you're yelling at chat. You just basically wrote out my take and added the part where you said you're, well, I guess you added the global south, which is something to take into consideration. But you also added that I'm a leftist Christian.
With the president.
Well, I think it's less than about the president, and it's more about the Republican base. And I think the Republicans are afraid of the base. But the base is fully lined up with it's a ton of election fraud. We don't believe anything the mainstream media says. You know, it's the facts.
I think this also includes entertainment and online leftist discourse. Deep inside, Twitter politics is just copium because we don't have material power in our lives. I know the more alienated I get from my party/job, the more I go watch or stream and tune out, or go on Twitter to shout at people, or come on my stream to shout at me because I'm not doing enough to get fucking Gloria Riva to be assigned as the next president of the United States. Yeah.
It's cheating and all that. As the only person seemed to be able to manage them is the president. So it's afraid of the base.
As you know, we're in the middle of a terrible surge on the ongoing COVID-19 crisis, and the Trump administration isn't cooperating with the Biden transition team. How damaging could a delay be for the nation's health and security, you think?
Well, I think this is the biggest problem. I think it's less of a problem that they haven't, provided the funds to do the transition, or they haven't gotten the security briefings. I think Joe Biden, having been in the White House for 8 years, he's well aware of how the executive branch works. The problem is the pandemic.
Someone in the chat said humans would put Jesus in jail if he came back. Yeah, we might have. Maybe Jesus already came back, and we locked him up for being a brown dude whose name is Jesus and wanted to give people fucking health care and shit. Okay? Like, 100%. 100%. Like, Republicans would kill Jesus with a gun. Like, they would literally shoot Jesus in the face. Oh, thank you so much, Mom. I have the best mommy, dude. I got my tendies.
And every day that goes by where Joe Biden and his group of advisors aren't intimately involved in how this is going to function come January is a day that it could make the pandemic worse. And as Joe Biden said today, as the more they do this, the more lives that could be lost.
Matthew Dowd, always grateful, my friend. Thank you so much.
Great to be here. Thanks, Byron.
Hi, everyone. George.
Oh, my God. It's so loud. Yeah, can you imagine? Fucking brown communist dude with long hair, big beard. Like his name is Jesus, but he looks like Muhammad, and he's coming to America, and he's like, I need to do socialism. We need to do socialism, bro. I promise, bro. It would fucking destroy him, dude. They'd be like, God damn it, you're not the real Jesus. Donald Trump is, God damn it. Republicans would treat Jesus, the second coming of Jesus Christ, like the way I treat like replaying old games from the past. It's like, it's better in my imagination. You just stay right there. Oh, I've been meaning to watch this. Wow. All right, now we are going to turn our attention over to Chuds Overseas. Now, I know a lot of you, bruv. I know a lot of you fucking watch me all day. And you say, look at these fucking Americans, bruv. They're fucking crazy, bruv. Boris! Boris! He's got to bring our passports back, Boris. Right. Well, guess what, bruv? You got fucking Tories in your country. All right, so let's take a look.
Okay. Stand on your own 2 feet. Put the bloody coffee cup down if you want to have a proper conversation, okay?
We're going to an anti-lockdown
Owen fucking Jones, bruv.
Protest. Now, the polls show the vast majority of people support lockdown. A lot of people don't think it's going far enough. But there is a minority in this country who don't agree at all. I want to go to a protest, find out what they're objecting to, what they really think is going on, and what's driving them. So, we are walking down Whitehall. The protest is supposed to be outside 10 Downing Street. Makes sense, yell at the Prime Minister. But can't really see any of them. Where are the protesters? Oh yeah, so do you know, are you here because there was supposed to be this
oh my God.
Anti-lockdown? Where are they? That's annoying. Never thought I'd say it.
No, that's why we come to ask you. So if you knew what was going on.
That'd be handy if one of us knew, wouldn't it?
Wait. Oh, damn it, dude. That's it? They got like 3 people? Is this a fucking meme, dude? I thought there'd be more chuds. God damn it.
Excuse me. Hello. Can we have a quick chat just for camera?
You're not Owen Jones, are you? Yeah, you are!
I'm
Hello!
so sorry. Hiya, how you doing? So you've got... Wait a minute, let's have a look. Trust the people, but don't most of the people support lockdown?
I'm astonished that all these polls say that, but then the polls were so wrong about Trump.
Sorry. Sorry, good point. So you don't think the polls are right?
Well, they haven't been wrong about the US elections so far, and they weren't right about Brexit, and they weren't right about the last US election. So do you trust the polls or do you trust the people?
Well, I don't know how you'd measure what people think. I mean, you're right, polls can be unreliable, but it's such a large majority. They'd have to be completely... Oh my God, I've been assaulted by your side. I mean, they'd have to be completely wrong, wouldn't they?
This is the most British video on the planet, dude. He got bonked.
Fake news. Oh, hello. What's fake news? Let's have a chat. Come on, let's have a chat. Oh, come on.
No, come on, nothing.
No.
Take your fake news.
Why am I fake news?
Anyone with a mask on, take your mask
I'll take my mask off, but we've got social distance, otherwise we'll get arrested.
Okay. Stand on your own 2 feet. Put the bloody coffee cup down if you want to have a proper
Oh yeah,
conversation.
that is actually true. I might actually do that. Good point.
Yeah, take the bloody mask off.
I like this. You're very...
Take the mask off and I'll talk to
I
you
can't...
more.
I've taken the mask down. I think that's a compromise.
Okay,
that's
fine,
a compromise.
That's a fair compromise. You tell me why you think this lockdown is necessary.
Because tens of thousands of people have died of a
No,
deadly
they
illness.
haven't. Actually, 98% of the tests are false positives. Okay, or probably more than that.
What? That's not true, but...
Were you saying that's not true? I'm saying it is true. Where the hell are we? Wake the hell up, everyone. Why do we breathe out? We breathe out because it's carbon monoxide and it's bad for us. And that's why our body expels the toxins. So why are they forcing us to breathe it back in? Okay? That's what's going to cause you sick.
Okay. it's wild that the best way that the fucking British right was able to organize a anti-lockdown protest is still a protest that's like smaller in size than a random one that a QAnon supporting Andy, a failed rapper, Scotty the Kid, was able to put together. Like the QAnon supporter rally I went to about saving children from pedophilia at the Netflix headquarters. That one was a bigger anti-shutdown. That was a bigger anti-lockdown protest than this. Like there were more anti lockdown people there than at this fucking rally. That's wild to me, dude. Fuck. I'm a little, I can't tell if I should be jealous that like there's less dummies overall over there, but that's not the case. They do have like big ass chud rallies still in the UK. But I don't know if I should be excited because like at least chuds are very entertaining. And like we have a lot more entertainment. At least that's how I feel currently about this situation. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I fucking mean, bruv. What are you doing with your tendies? I load it up into a pita pocket, and then I eat it like it's a little sandwich. It's a treat I make for myself every day.
Okay, give me a break.
After that, gathering of one. Well, I was expecting to see more people here today.
Yeah, where is everyone?
I don't know. It was the first protest I've attended in 25 years. But I saw I saw the thing on Guy Fawkes Night, 5th of November. I thought, okay, I'll come along to the next one.
Why don't you think so many people turned up today?
It was quite a beating we took on Thursday night, on Bonfire Night.
What was the beating?
Well, in Trafalgar Square up the road, where the Piers Corbyn and the other people supporting the million mask, not quite a million, I have to concede. No, look, sure, you know. No, I don't think there was even that, to be honest. But you know, I'm here with 5, and I'm you know, it takes 5. You've got to start somewhere.
The government was putting down.
Do I misunderstand Guy Fawkes on the 5th of November? Doesn't that, like, why would you go to the fucking Parliament House on the 5th of November? Isn't that when you blow up? Like, isn't that literally the area that you're not supposed to go?
All sorts of deaths as coronavirus deaths, and you can find that online from people who've verified. People could go in with a broken leg and they would be put down, honestly, as coronavirus deaths.
This is what I'm trying to ask, though.
Yeah, okay.
Objectively, if you look at the graph, excess deaths went like this, from March to May, and then they came down. What happened? Why, in that period, in those 2 months, did excess deaths surge and then go down?
The government
and then they went back to normal.
Yeah,
what was that
I don't know what you're believing, because I think you're, coming from a different place from me. But we believe the government have an agenda. And what they want to do is they want to bring in martial law. They want to bring in keep people at home.
What for? Why do you think they want to keep people at home?
Have you read Agenda 21 and 30? Have you read information from which people say is conspiracy, but it's actually a big book?
Right.
If you look at
how did you come across that? I'm really interested. How did you find it?
It's online everywhere.
Joining Twitter a few months.
Big books can't famously ever have incorrect information in them. Like, if it's a big book, then that means it's good.
Months ago, awakened me to what the mainstream media won't report. See, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I now believe there's a very left-wing globalist agenda, and he's now part of it.
These guys are socialists. Boris Johnson's a socialist as well.
Is Boris Johnson really a socialist?
Yes.
Why is he a socialist?
Because he tells people what to do. That's what socialists do. They just tell people what to do because they don't respect individual liberty.
Yeah.
My right. I am a sovereign person.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You don't believe that.
Yeah, no, famously, socialism is when, it's not even socialism is when the government does stuff, and the more government does, the more socialist it is. We've moved beyond that. And it's socialism is when anybody tells me what to do.
You can nod along, yep. But
well,
just do what you're told by the government.
Collectively, we've all got to make huge sacrifices to stop lots of people dying.
No, that's where you're wrong.
Did you come to protests and stuff before lockdown?
I mean, down here, I'd be desperate because I've lost all my friends and family because of this.
I've lost most of my friends and acquaintances because they are very similar to you in their outlook.
What's happened with your friends and your family? Why
well, because they all think I'm some crazy conspiracy theorist.
They think I'm a Nazi, and I think they're communists and f***ing stupid.
Were these your friends?
Associates. Yeah, I'm down to about 3 friends. I'm not even concerned about one of them because he's a bit of a communist. So.
People I fell out with, like, bitterly, now we get on because suddenly we're all go, what a load of tosh this is. I'll be an ally with anybody who wants to be against the thing. If they get up and they start saying Hitler this and Hitler that, I'll say I'm walking away because I don't want to be there.
Good to know you've drawn the line at Hitler. But do you think, if I was going to end up in a protest movement along with Tommy Robinson supporters and David Icke, I might think to myself,
the way I say it, I'm responsible for what I say.
Of course.
And you're responsible for what you say. But, if somebody says I'm opposed to lockdown and I'm also believe in lizard people, I'd say you're very confused about the lizard people, but I'm with you on the lockdown.
This guy's the most radical big tent organizer I've ever fucking seen. Despite the fact that he only was able to organize 5 people. He's literally like, I'll have Hitler on board if he's going to promote vegetarianism. And by the way, I'm not saying he did that. Please, vegans, don't get mad. It's just a joke. Like clearly, vegans would not be on board with Hitler. Please.
The way I see it, I want radical people to fight this lockdown because otherwise we own the disaster.
Do you think the danger people like me are making a mistake in that a growing number of people clearly are suffering the economic consequences of this, and they're going to get angry about it, and they're going to look to people to offer leadership and solutions and be angry with people like me for supporting this?
Yes, definitely. And especially when everything else is going to shit, they're going to focus on someone who gives them hope. And at the moment, all the leftist media, or the left-wing biased media, the MSM, are turning people away in droves. The normal man in the street, who you don't give them any credence for having any intelligence.
Kind of weird that, even their fucking mega chuds, like the ones that are dedicated to the cause, they seem normal. They're stupid. You could tell that they're stupid. Maybe I'm being I don't know. Maybe I'm being blinded. I'm getting duped by their accents, which is a classic American take. We just automatically assume that people with posh accents are smart, or not even posh, but as long as they're not, as long as they don't have the Chav accent, you always assume in America that this person is smart.
They don't support your agenda, your ethos, your politics.
I think what you're suggesting is lockdown is this kind of left-wing thing. But it's not like people like me want a lockdown. Why would we want a lockdown society? What are we getting out of it? We get locked in our homes as well.
What I think the solution is, and I think that girl was saying it earlier on, which is you identify the vulnerable and you give them the choice. Again, we're the 6th largest economy in the world. We're Great Britain. We can do this. get the illegal immigrants out of the 4-star hotels, put old people, the vulnerable, in hotels, make them secure, have everyone wearing hazmat.
Wait, what? Oh, that's why they call him a Nazi. I was like, why is this Nazi so civil? Like, why are his friends calling him a Nazi? He seems like a normal dude. And then he's like, get the fucking illegals out of the hotels, bruv.
Things if you want, protect the vulnerable, rather than making everyone suffer for such a small percentage of people.
You've got to be able to debate the issue. You've got to be able to protest. You've got to be able to have demonstrations and challenge the mainstream view.
Are you going to go to more protests?
Yes.
Hopefully bigger than this one. It's not even that cold.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. I don't know.
The protest is basically me and you now.
Maybe I am in the wrong place. I don't know.
Yeah, I might look it up. Look, this has been great, by the way. That was really good. You were very eloquent.
Far from it.
No, very good, very good.
Anyway.
Thanks, buddy. What was your name again?
Mike.
Nice to meet you, Mike.
You got to unblock me on Twitter?
I'll think about it. We'll reassess.
So the claims of these protesters just aren't true. Britain's got the highest official COVID-19 death toll in Europe. That's over 50,000 people who've died, and bear in mind that's an underestimate. There's over 70,000 excess deaths linked to the virus. Lockdown's got overwhelming support from medical and scientific experts, and it brought down otherwise escalating infections and death rates earlier this year, and that's what stopped the NHS from being overwhelmed. But it is easy to just dismiss anti-lockdown protesters as fringe conspiracists. But while a minority, there are millions of people who do oppose lockdown, and they're boosted by right-wing MPs and shock jock journalists. To try and understand this phenomenon better, I went to speak to Richard Seymour, and he's a journalist who's written a lot about it.
In the United Kingdom, the protests that we've seen, they're very, very diverse. Like, they draw in I mean, I'm sure you've seen examples of this. I've certainly been hectored by people who I would say used to share my politics, people on the left, who claim that lockdown is completely unnecessary, doesn't work, etc., etc. I think it's a shame. It's a real shame because if we get stuck on the argument about whether lockdown works, which most of the evidence suggests it does, we're not really thinking about a rigorous accounting of the pros and cons. Some of the earliest anti-lockdown protests we've seen were in the Philippines because the government wasn't giving people the food packages. And of course, Duterte said, shoot them all. And then in India, when migrants basically said, we want to be paid and we want to go home. So there are going to be these responses to injustice. Just, I think, the day before yesterday, in Manchester, the students were out protesting. And they weren't denialists. They were just saying, we've been fenced in with wire. We don't want to be treated like animals, and the students have been treated absolutely appallingly in this country. And one of the problems that we on the left are going to face if we don't get ahead of this and start thinking about this carefully and discriminately is that, you know how we've seen with the Gilets jaunes and various other protest movements, and I think this is a bit like that, these lockdown protests. You know, you can end up in a situation where the people who have a voice and who are thinking ahead of this and impress themselves on those movements will be fairly right-wing, fairly conspiratorial. I'm not suggesting, by the way, that the left should start leading the anti-lockdown protests, but we do need to start talking about the problems and thinking more discriminately about how lockdown is done.
You know, lockdown is miserable. It's shit.
Aw, my man, death to the leftists. Aw. Aw. Here you go, brother. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, little boo-boo.
It's lonely, it's shredding, you know, the one thing that most humans crave, which is social interaction, and it has dire economic consequences, often for working class people, and, you know, people like me supported closing the schools. But
look, sometimes we play, sometimes we pet them, sometimes you just gotta take them out back and you know, put them out of their misery. This is one of those times when you put them out of their misery, you know?
undeniable that it does have a big impact on disproportionately working class kids.
Yeah.
So how do we square that? How do we square not going down, obviously, a conspiracist rabbit hole and opposing measures which are for public health and saving lives, as up in the NHS being overwhelmed, without a lot of people who are increasingly going to suffer the consequences of this, looking at us like almost ghoulish fetishizers.
Okay.
Or do I just ignore him?
Before I go on with this video, I do have to acknowledge something that is quite remarkable about this community specifically. Back in the day when I was at 10K Andy and I would get like 30,000 people on random occasions, there would be a lot, and I mean a lot of aggressive, like far-right movement in the chat. Anytime there was an uptick, in the community, like or if there's an event or if a lot of people were coming in, there was a crazy amount of people that came from the right and would say like fucked up shit. You guys notice that like we're have 34,000 people in here right now, and like very rarely are there actual weirdos. Either we banned all of them, or some of them have reformed themselves throughout time. So someone said, I'm weird as fuck. I just don't talk. And most of the takes that I read that are hot takes are literally my own community members, like Echo Chamber, Pog. Yeah. My own community members you've created a nice little echo chamber for yourself. I mean, I want people to fucking still come in and have their takes be heard.
My mom's coworker got COVID and she needed to be put on a ventilator. They had to go to 4
like you can fucking cry and say echo chamber, but it's not like
we have ventilators is quickly.
It's not like I don't want a diversity of opinion in here. I mean, you know, we have a pet the chud for a reason. We love our pets here. What did Dono say? The daughter of my mom's coworker got COVID and she needed to be put on a ventilator. They had to go 4 different hospitals just to find one. So Trump's claim that we have ventilators is quickly diminishing. Oh shit, dude. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Holy fuck. That's crazy. Probably the most inviting for people to try their takes on you to make you mauled. I don't think the echo chamber thing holds up. I mean, I love reading takes of people that are... Yeah, I mean, I'm going to ban someone who says death the leftist. Like, I mean, it's silly. I'm sorry. Like, that's the echo chamber that I want. I want an echo chamber full of people who have different opinions on things that don't... you know... Who don't say stuff like death to leftists.
Of misery.
In one way, you could argue, lockdown is very much in the interests of the most vulnerable because they are the ones who are most likely to get sick. And I think it would be sociopathic in a way to sort of say, well, you know, like we're not going to worry about that. But in another way, we have to recognize that lockdown is coming down hardest, as you said, on the poorest, on the working class people. And I think that it must be hellish for people. I've certainly found it quite difficult, and I can imagine people who are ordinarily very lonely anyway because physical disability, mental illness, or any number of other issues that might make you feel lonely or might make you be alone. It's just got 10 times worse. So we need to come up with ways to, first of all, challenge the government where they're not offering adequate support.
If I'm not mistaken, Owen Joe's a bit of a lib. Right? He's a lefty, but like in American, he's like an American lefty, but he's kind of a lib. I don't know. My metric for leftism is Corbyn and Bernie Sanders. Like if you offer support to either, then that's the entry point. Like I will, that's my starting point. I'm not saying that that's the end all be all, but the least you got to do The least you got to do is just like support fucking Corbyn and support Bernie Sanders. That's my bottom for being a leftist. If you say shit like, "Oh my God, Corbyn is anti-Semitic" or whatever, like, nah, yeah, you're not a leftist. Like, you're fucking ridiculous. Hey, Cutie Jelly, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. What's happening? Why are you guys gifting subs like crazy? Aber Boons, thank you for the 10. T Stakey, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. What happened? Why are you gifting subs? Oh, almost 60K? Yeah, that's wild.
Corbyn, Bernie, Sag.
Second of all, I think we have to recognize this government's not going to get it together in the short term. They're going to keep getting...
I am X away from why. I haven't been mentioning it because it's kind of embarrassing.
Getting worse and worse and worse. They're going to keep screwing it up. So if we face up to that, then we can think about what is our survival mechanism. I think at the start of lockdown, there was this outpouring of mutual aid. And that was a great thing, but it was very short term. If we could find ways to build mutual aid into everyday life, it would make it much more easy to survive. So let's summarize this. 1, criticize the preconditions. Why did we need lockdown in the first place? 2, very conditional support for lockdown where it's necessary. 3, absolute defense of the interests of the people who are at the bottom of this and suffering most from it. Whether they're, very poor, working class, mentally ill, whether they're suffering from racial oppression or anything else like that. I think that would be a good starting point. But also I think we're going to have to be aware that there are going to be these protests. People are going to get sick and tired of it. Understandably, they're going to want to lash out. And those are going to be terrain.
Oh my God. First of all, this dude is badass.
As buff.
What's up with his fucking face? Like, he's got like a knife scar on his face. I bet he was a badass. Secondly, he literally looks like big ass Messi. Lastly, I'm going to be playing Among Us now. I'm almost done with my food. I'm going to be playing Among Us with Pokimane and all these other people.
Okay.
Yo.
Okay.
Yo.
Hi.
What's here? I don't know if you guys are playing right now. I'm just finishing my food.
Okay, you have a couple minutes. You're good.
Okay, cool. All right. I'll
So
be in.
what is...
Okay, I'm going to be playing Among Us with Pokimane and a bunch of other people. Hold on. Oh, dude. I bet this is the fucking psycho. Where is it? Oh, I missed it. Did one of the mods clap him? The one who's like playing Among Us with Pokey. Like, he literally could not hold himself back. Oh, no, that's not it. That's clapped the wrong guy. Sanders and Corbyn are sock gems, though. Why is the Center for Leftism supporting counter-revolutionary reformist defenders of capitalism? Because I love bourgeois democracy, and I secretly love capitalism. Not secretly, openly, actually. It's great. I literally said, it's the fucking basement. Like, that's the entry point for me.
We back W Among Us.
Also, I don't want to hear it from annoying, extremely online Andes over here shitting on Bernie Sanders and Corbyn by saying they're not real leftists or that they're just bourgeois sock-dems participating in a bourgeois electoral system when they've done more for leftist causes, even if it's just to get more people to recognize that they might be socialist, or recognize, even when it comes to just agitation. Like, even when it comes to agitation, then every single one of you combined, it doesn't matter. You can call them libs all you fucking want. That does not change the reality of the words I speak. Sorry. That's just the truth. You're nothing. You have done, even if you organized, even if you unionized the workplace and you fucking organized like crazy, it's literally nothing in comparison to the amount of work that Corbyn and Sanders have put in to leftist causes, to advancing socialism globally. And that's just the truth. They are more successful than you at being a leftist, at being an organizer, at doing all this shit. So it truly does not matter what your extremely online opinion is, because you don't think that he's like you don't think that he is closer to Parenti or something. That's just the truth. Also, we just made it to 60K.
2 years as a sub for my birthday, Pogu.
We just broke 60K subs, and I will be playing with a bunch of content creators in a brief moment. I'll be playing Among Us. We're getting back to the Among Us saga here. I'll be playing with them for a little bit, and then I'm gonna play some other video games. But before that, it's top of the hour every hour. It's time for a 60-second ad break, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, it's 4. And of course, the way to avoid these ad breaks, all you need to do if you want to avoid these ad breaks is subscribe with your Twitch Prime or with your regular Amazon $5 a month subscription. As an organizer, I admit they are effective entry points. Anyone shitting on that is not seeing the big picture. Absolutely. Here's a 6-second ad break. Trump fired the head of security? What? Recent statement by Chris Krebs on the security of the 2020 election was highly inaccurate in that there were massive improprieties and fraud, including dead people voting. Poll watchers were not allowed in the polling locations. Yeah, it sucks to suck, bitch. You lost, motherfucker. What I'm talking about.
Oh my gosh, they paid a lot of money.
Hey, what's
Hello.
up?
Hello. Hi, Corpse. Hey,
Are you guys doing like beta or something? Like, do I need to change anything? I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Oh, okay.
It's all the same now.
The last time I played was with you guys, like literally. So I haven't played Among Us since then.
Oh.
All good. Five, did they say anything about kill animations?
Ooh, you know what? I didn't ask that, but I'm sure they'll 100% add more.
That would be a good idea.
I'll ask that next time. And then they said they eventually, this wasn't the first time I talked to them, they want to do another game mode, potentially.
Man, this is exciting.
Is there a place where I can get the...
Homies chat.
Okay.
No, for the bubbles? That's just in general.
Oh, bubbles are in general. And
Yeah, that's what I was looking for, but I got it. Thank you. And also the code as well.
That's in Homies.
Oh shit, I literally had it open from the last time. Like, that was already my link on my Discord overlay. Nice. That's how long
It
it's
really
been.
has been a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been playing a lot of...
oh.
Yeah.
I've just been playing a bunch of other